Aloha and welcome to the Hawaii Connection. My name is Bronson Caso. We are doing a series called Coffee with a Candidate. Even though I don't have a cup of coffee right next to me, no matter. We'll just call it a coffee with a candidate. I'm here with Kelden Waltjen, who is running for prosecuting attorney. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Bronson. I really appreciate the opportunity speaking with you this morning.
Thank you. Thank you. So what is it like running for office?
Well, as you know, I'm a first-time candidate, so this is very new and it's a challenging experience, especially what we're going through right now with the pandemic, trying to get your name out there, especially, first time for me trying to get into the limelight as far as being a political candidate. So it's a steep learning curve and trying to think of innovative ways on spreading the word. So
yeah, no, for sure.
So when you reached out and you said that you're willing to do this, you had this great idea. I was like, hey, this is something I want to be involved in.
Yep. Thank you for that. We do appreciate it. And it's just another, especially now with the whole COVID-19, this is just going to be the next level of just outreaching to the community and getting you and other candidates' voice out to the community and finding a different way to get your message and what your policies are, what you're all about, where you're from. People all want to know what they're about to vote for in the next in this coming election. So let's take a step back here. Are you you're Hilo boy?
Born and raised
Big Island, Hilo boy. Yeah. What school did you go to?
I went to St. Joseph's High School.
St. Joseph, and you graduated from there, and you went to UH.
I graduated in 2004. I'm a sometimes we refer to them as lifers. I went to St. Joseph's kindergarten. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to thank your mom for that, right?
Yeah, my parents are both St. Joseph alumni as well.
Nice.
I guess it just was natural that they wanted me to follow in their footsteps and attend the school as well.
Right. Well, it's in the genes, right?
I guess so.
So you went from St. Joe's into UH Hilo, correct?
Yes, I went to University of Hawaii Hilo. Obtained my bachelor's in political science in 2008, and following that, I applied to go to law school, and I was fortunate enough to be able to attend the William S. Richardson School of Law at the University of Hawaii Manoa. And I graduated in 2011.
Off the top, why run for prosecuting attorney, and why now? Why run for office?
A lot of people have asked me this, and all I can tell you is I really care about our community. I know that we're coming across some times that it's times that we need to move forward. There's going to be a lot of transition, a lot of changing. There's a lot of political reform with bail reform, progressive reforms that a lot of agendas are trying to be pushed. And we need leadership with the right type of framework that knows what's going on in our community, knows what our community interests lie, and is in touch with the people, and having a good balance where we need to look at rehabilitation, but at the same time, we have to also balance that with public safety and public interest, with still using incarceration as a means to deter further criminal activity. So we just need to find that right balance between things. And I think I'm the right person for the job. I think I have a good support system. I have a good understanding of our office, its staff, our office policies, our special programs. I have a good relationship with the law enforcement agency here, the Hawaii County Police Department. I work well with them. I know a lot of, in working with the different agencies, I believe I've built the types of relationships necessary to move our office forward into the future.
And you're a deputy prosecuting attorney, correct? That's your current position. And how long have you been in that position?
I've served with the Hawaii County office as a deputy prosecuting attorney since 2012. I started in the district court unit handling petty misdemeanor traffic offenses, petty misdemeanor crimes up to misdemeanor offenses. And then I transitioned into the circuit court, the felony unit, handling everything from domestic violence cases to felony offense, drug felony offenses, property crimes, sex assaults, homicides, felony traffic offenses. So a little bit of everything.
Right. One of the things that I've noticed, and I don't know if you noticed this as well, but a lot of people don't know what the prosecuting attorney does, right?
That's correct.
So my second question is, what will you do as prosecuting attorney?
As prosecuting attorney, if elected, I'll move our office prioritizing crimes and looking at holding those serious, violent, dangerous offenders accountable. At the same time, identifying those individuals that we think we can rehabilitate through substance abuse, mental health treatment, and helping connect those people, put them into contact with the right services through court-mandated supervision, like probation, or through intake service center if the case is in the pretrial stage.
Okay. Yeah. You're also in charge of this, just the overall administration of that's in the confines of the prosecuting attorney's office.
Yes.
And so I know a lot of people get super frustrated with when somebody goes through that process and there's all of a sudden like a 3-year period, but that's just how the court system works. That's state law. And there's nothing you can do about state law that goes up to the legislature, correct?
Yes.
That's one thing that I think one of the a lot of the people in the public have a hard time understanding is like, oh, the prosecuting attorney can do all these things, but in reality, they're subject to the law, right?
Right. As the prosecutor, our job is to uphold the rule of law, follow the statutes and the provisions that are set out. We're not lawmakers. We don't make the law. There's times when we do get involved in the lawmaking process by advocating, or we may even help talk to legislators about proposed legislation, or if something's not working, trying to keep that open line of communication with legislators. But that's the extent of how we would be making law. The other end of being a prosecutor, as far as how law can be made, is when the Supreme Court makes a decision, or if the courts make a decision regarding a case, and that's another way that law can be made. But as far as drafting legislation and taking it before being the people that decide and vote on those laws, that's outside of the realm of the prosecutor.
I see. I'm still learning what that position entails. So thank you for that. So drug-related activity and offenses have increased on island. Are there any changes you will make as the prosecuting attorney for these cases and convictions?
I think one of the things we need to do when we're talking about drug-related crimes is we need to distinguish between drug distributors and those who are suffering from addiction. I think that's one of the key components that we have to kind of look at in addressing drug crimes. And when we're looking at distributors, we need to hold those people accountable for their actions and seek stiffer penalties to deter further distribution of narcotics and having these people poison our communities. With that being said, we have to identify those who are suffering from addiction, helping them to address their addiction and their substance abuse issues through supervision, whether it be through probation or, as I mentioned earlier, through supervision through intake service center, but helping them seek the right types of treatment programs that are appropriate for them. Actually, a lot of individuals are more dual diagnosis. And what I mean by that is that they don't only have substance abuse issues, but they may also suffer from have mental health issues as well. And they need programs that will address those two concerns, sometimes simultaneously at the same time. So that, I think, is the first part of looking at the issues that we're dealing with drugs.
Now,
I think
those programs are coming in from that are funded by the state, correct?
a lot of them are nonprofits as well. That's one of the issues that we have here on the island is there's not that many substance abuse treatment programs available, especially residential programs. So oftentimes what happens is offenders on our island look to other islands for entry into treatment programs. And a lot of times, especially the residential ones, there's not much bed space available. Right. And what happens is you have people kind of stuck in this limbo stage. A lot of times when people are being sentenced for offenses related to substance abuse issues, one of the provisions that the sentencing court uses is a term of the sentence where they're subject to early release to a treatment program. However, the difficulties that's been happening is they've encountering a lot of difficulties getting bed space. As a result, we have more people being incarcerated for longer periods of time. That being said, as a prosecutor, I also see the effect of, a lot of people will say, well, why don't we just release these people? It's just they have a drug history, or they have a drug concern. But the problem is, if we don't release them into a program or give them the resources necessary to address their addiction, they quickly reoffend, and they're right back in the same situation again, sometimes committing even more serious crimes, or worst case scenario, they commit a violent crime and they hurt someone else. So that's a lot of the issues that we're having with just not having enough substance abuse treatment programs available. Another concern we've been working with to address drug problems is we've been having more interaction with other law enforcement agencies, including Homeland Security, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office. I think we're working a little bit more closely with them. U.S. Attorney Kenji Price has been pushing Project Safe Neighborhoods and working with the individual county prosecutors' offices. And our county has been, I feel, instrumental in working with the Hawaii County Police Department to try and address some of these more serious offenders who are involved, with firearms and drugs in our community. And I believe that we're soon going to see a lot of the results of that collaboration of multi-agencies statewide. So,
thank you for that. Through homelessness, though, let's see here. Though homelessness is not an illegal activity, it is and has been a growing concern here on the island, and it is tended to bring illegal activity close to the community. What part will you play to help to make Hawaii Island safer? This question was given to me by one of our viewers.
Oh, okay. Homelessness is a growing concern. We'll have to take a collaborative, community-focused approach in addressing these individuals' concerns. I think we need to look at different community leaders need to come together, and we need to identify first what type of situation we have with this individual, and see if we can help assist them in obtaining alternative housing, financial assistance, social services which are appropriate, such as like we talked about substance abuse, mental health, counseling, and those are the types of things I'm hoping that we can do before they get into the criminal justice system, right, and try to avoid having to have those types of people into the system. That being said, for those that enter the criminal justice system, I'll work with our office will work with the Defense Council, work with the courts, work with court mandated supervision, work with other community interests, and see if we can identify these individuals on a case-by-case basis to determine what types of programs will better help them and adjust their needs, and hopefully reduce recidivism.
Thank you. A lot of communities outside of Hilo and Kona feel that the prosecuting attorney's office has been turning a blind eye to them. What will you do administrationally to provide the office's services to those communities that are underserved?
Well, I think the first thing we have to do is we have to engage the communities. We need to encourage a discussion. We need to have an open line of communication. And if elected, I will welcome input from the community. I also believe that attendance at public forums and meetings by our office is going to be crucial in understanding the public's concerns and getting a better feel for what's the needs in the very different communities. Because, I mean, as we know, our island is broken up into a lot of different areas. There's a lot of very rural communities who their concerns might not be, their concerns are probably very different from a district on the other side of the island. So we just have to get out there. We have to open lines of communication, and we have to just make sure that we understand what the people's needs are. Another facet, I think, is I believe that social media is kind of the future. And social media has provided like a convenient vehicle for us to be able to be connected to people. I've been working with TK Warsig from Big Island Thieves, and just trying to open up that line of communication. You know, there's a lot of information available. People would be surprised that social media is being used, you know, as far as in active investigations, identifying witnesses, and it's just a great tool. So I'd like to build on that and think of other creative ways that we can use technology to our advantage. Our office also has a crime prevention justice assistance group, and they're focused on community-related and community-oriented relationships. They work with these different groups. They, from an education, prevention, and research background, and I believe through those relationships, we can use the information gained and the networking to move forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Agricultural crimes has seen an increase, with many individuals and businesses being profoundly affected. What will you do as a prosecuting attorney to help the ag communities with a sense of trust within their court system? Now, this one is kind of near and dear. This question is near and dear to my heart because my family comes from a Kona coffee background, and we've seen an uptick. Well, not us in general, but just the community here in Holualoa has seen an uptick in theft, in ag theft. What can be done to make sure that these businesses are being safe?
You know, agriculture theft affects us all, especially considering the impact that the pandemic has had. Hawaii is going to have to really look at all our available resources and industries, and I think agriculture is huge, especially on this island. Just given the impact that the tourist industry is going to take. So we need to definitely prioritize and help our farmers, help our agriculture community. One of the things I've noticed over time is that a lot of times in the past with agriculture theft, farmers in particular have been so frustrated because their farms will get hit, stolen from, not just goods, but also like equipment, machinery. And I think the frustrations that they've felt have sometimes and oftentimes resulted in I don't want to say a distrust, but almost a sense of feeling that, oh, there's no point in, or no sense, no sense report it because nothing's going to happen, or no sense we follow through because nothing's going to happen. And I think that's kind of the first step. If something happens, if there's a crime committed, we really need to be reported. Because the first step in anything is identifying an issue. And if elected, I hope to work with those in the agriculture community in identifying persons of interest who might be suspects in related to agriculture theft. I think we need to look at not just the people who are committing the initial theft, but we should also be focusing on the people who are buying stolen goods, products, machinery, and giving thieves an agenda. You know, as you know, agriculture theft will affect the market. There's just such an overarching effect on how it can a domino effect on the community. And I think in working with these community leaders, we can better address these concerns, maybe even set up or help educate on means of prevention that they could use or implement on their own properties. And hopefully we can deter future criminal activity. But we need to hold these people accountable. And the first step with that is identifying who they are. So we just need to work together and move forward.
Well, thank you. And thank you for joining us, of course. I really do appreciate it. I'll give you like a minute, anything that you would want to say, any shout outs you want to give, but the floor is yours.
I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity again. I really appreciate it. What's so interesting is in having a chance to meet you, like when you were out at Starbucks. I just want to, I guess, tell the viewers a little bit about how our interaction is. We got to meet through a mutual friend and putting us into contact. And I think in meeting people like you, we can hopefully build off of this networking, meet other people, and I think just branch off and hopefully help everyone make Hawaii a safer place. As far as with respect to my campaign, I just humbly ask everyone for their support. If anyone has any questions, they can visit my website. It's keldenforprosecutor.org. I also have a Instagram and a Facebook page. So if anybody has any questions, they can message me, DM me, and hopefully I'll be able to get back to them in a timely fashion. But I really appreciate it, Bronson. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, and I do appreciate it. Aloha, Bronson here from the Hawaii Connection. I hope everybody's staying safe during this COVID-19 pandemic. Just to let you know, because things have changed a lot, we're doing all virtual candidate with coffee with the candidate. And I wanted to let you know that because it's all virtual, you can watch it on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcast, and I just wanted to let you know and spread the message that the Hawaii Connection has information about each candidate that's going to be running for office. And you're more than welcome to go to the site www.thehawaiiconnection.com to see more information. Also, you can check up our YouTube and Facebook, and all that information will be there for you guys. So thank you for watching, and stay safe out there. Aloha.